Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch.
Driving along on the highway and you've been hit by a semi-truck. Now what do? You call your Montana attorneys, Ryan and Miller. We have the expertise to help guide you along in these specific types of accidents. So these are the 3 steps that you need to follow. Number 1, make sure that the police are called and that there is a report of the accident. Second, make sure that you're getting the medical attention that you need and following up with your doctor. Third, do not talk to an insurance company until you've talked to an attorney. They are not going to help you protect your rights, and you want to make sure that you know all that you're entitled to. Contact an attorney today by clicking the link below.
Down the stretch we come in the Big Sky Conference, and we got a rivalry game in Bozeman, actually 2 of them, on Saturday with plenty of ramifications on every side. We're joined now by Montana State head men's basketball coach Matt Logie. Coach, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Interesting looking at your guys' schedule. It seems like 74 is the magic number. 74 exactly is the amount of points you guys have scored in your last 4 wins. That's got to just be a coincidence, right? That's not actually like a parameter for success, unless 74 is more than the other team, I suppose.
Yeah, I've yet to tell them to stop scoring at 74. So I don't think we'll use that as a ceiling per se.
Well, your team coming off of another home sweep, and you guys have been so good at home this season, especially in conference play. So, I guess 2-part question: what'd you like about what you saw of your team this last weekend, and also how proud are you guys? How proud are you of your guys for protecting home court so far, so well in league play?
Yeah, I thought last weekend was a good step forward for us. We kind of felt like we underperformed, in our last road trip at Northern Arizona. Played better against Northern Colorado, obviously a good team, and you got to make plays to beat them, and came up a little short. But our effort and our intensity and detail in that one was good, and so to see that carry over here at home and protect our home court, get 2 wins. I thought we played good, consistent basketball over the course of the weekend, and for whatever reason, we've just been better offensively at home. It's really what it's come down to. Our defensive numbers are pretty consistent across the board, but we've just had a higher propensity to make shots and kind of be in a comfort zone here in the Brick. And obviously, when you got great crowd support and great community support, the environment's been awesome as well.
The win Saturday against Idaho State, I mean, that was a rough and tumble type of game. I mean, you could tell lots of physicality, really intense. I mean, it seemed like almost like a tournament game. You can tell the tournament's getting close, right? And everybody's fighting for seeding and things like that. But to come out on top in a game like that, when you do get another team's best shot and still be able to persevere for a win, you think that's a moment for you, or I guess a piece of growth for you guys? Or what did you just think of that element of the victory?
Yeah, I thought there were a couple areas of growth for us against Idaho State. Number one, you're talking about the 3rd best offensive rebounding team in the country. That's something that we've been trying to grow in throughout the year, and to hold them below their average. And down the stretch, I think the last 12 minutes of the game, we didn't give up any offensive rebounds. That was a core element to being able to win that game, and a big step for us. And then I think we've seen over the last few weeks whether it's better execution, guys stepping up and making shots down the stretch, and or just having things bounce our way a little bit. Some of the losses that we've endured, in close games and down the stretch, we've seen those margins kind of balance out a little bit, and we've executed better down the stretch, and guys have stepped up and rung the bell to help us close out games and win close games. So obviously that's an area that we need to continue to succeed in down the stretch here.
Jade Mullins has really been playing great basketball for you guys. I think this month, the last 6 games or so, he's averaging almost 16 points per game, 17 both games this last weekend. So, what have you liked about the way he's playing, and what has helped him sort of elevate to this next level here this last month or so?
Yeah, I think for this group and the journey we've been on, it's been kind of an ongoing process of identifying and solidifying roles and trying to figure out how we get the most out of each person's abilities and talents. And for Jabe, I think it's been really helpful for him to kind of simplify the game and not be so responsible for organizing the team and having to play that primary ball handling role. Getting him off the ball and allowing Bryce and Jed to kind of be the organizers has allowed Jabe to really be aggressive and do what he's always done best, which is shoot the ball, attack closeouts. He's finishing at a high rate and he shoots free throws at a high rate. And I think he's kind of stepped up in some of the toughness categories defensively. He's second on our team in offensive rebounds in recent weeks, and just making those hustle plays and effort plays that kind of get you going if you haven't got going yet.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up.
Will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Matt Logie here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast. You mentioned Bryce Zephyr and Jed Miller sort of sharing those primary ball handler duties. How much do you think that's just unlocked your rotations? Because it seems like that solidified some stuff for you guys, especially offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unlocked Jabe in many ways. I think it's provided clarity to some opportunities that Bryce and Jed have, in more extended minutes. And then, I think, again, you look at this like a puzzle. You're trying to get the most out of everybody, and it's just kind of allowed everybody to play a little bit more to their strengths. Sam Lekalot has continued to emerge as well in the front court, being kind of a versatile front court player for us. And so, again, it's about being the best versions of ourselves all at the same time, and I think we're getting closer and closer to that each week.
We had Sam on the show last week. Love talking to that guy. He's such a fun guy to talk to, but he talked about just really trying to soak this up, his last run, senior. When you have guys like that, how do you sort of help them do that and make that be a positive, uplifting type of thing?
Well, I think, the first fact of the matter is, Sam Lekalot and Tyler Patterson they've seen it all here. They've been through this entire journey. They've, been in 4 conference championship games and been to 3 NCAA tournaments. They've checked every box you could possibly want to check, one time, and they've checked it multiple times over. And so I think that eliminates, one of the constraints that you find for seniors down the stretch is this weight of pressure and expectation that comes with trying to do something that maybe hasn't been done before or hasn't been done for a while, or it's your last chance to do it. I think when this game is played at its highest level, surrounded with the urgency and detail that it takes to win is a real kind of freedom and joy that you need to be playing with to get the best out of yourself. And so, my encouragement to those guys down the stretch is just to be really present, really enjoy every moment, whether that's a shoot around or a pregame meal or, the game itself. Everybody gets to the end of this road and remembers, how much how much they miss it. And so you don't want to let that go by.
It's sort of cool too that they've both made it to the end here, both Tyler Patterson and Sam Lechalot at the same school. And there was a moment in time where I'm sure they're looking around like, where'd all my teammates go, right? Like right before you took over the job, they're like a couple of the last men standing. Just to have that sort of solid foundational base that those guys provide, how much is that meant to you as a coach?
Well, I think it's really invaluable from the standpoint of traditions and standards. They know what this should look like. We've got a number of other guys that have been in the program now. This is their second year as well. But just the level of depth and care for a place is just going to be higher for a guy like Tyler and Sam that have been here for 4 or 5 years, as opposed to somebody that is just here for 1 or 2. And that's just because of all the shared experiences and the depth of the relationships. And in these guys' case, the core, memories that they've created and lifelong dreams that they've accomplished. I think them having one more chance to down the stretch to be in more of a leadership role in that pursuit is kind of the final step for each of them. And they've really done a good job here in recent weeks of stepping up to that challenge and leading our group.
We'll talk rivalry in a second, but just the way that the race has gone so far. I mean, you talk about like 5 teams are just completely jammed up in that 3 to 7 or 8 spot there in the conference. So what have you thought of just the league race so far this year? And what do you think are going to be the determining factors to help somebody sort of emerge and get one of those buys in Boise?
Yeah, I mean, I think every year conference races have an ebb and flow to it. There's always an imbalance at any given point in the calendar, to maybe who's played more home games, who's played more road games, who's playing well at a given time. And it really is a marathon. And until all the dust settles and everybody's played their 18 games, it's really hard to differentiate between anybody in this conference. And we're one of the most competitive conferences top to bottom, especially as you pertain to scoring margin. I mean, there's no nights off. You're not gonna look at a first place team in the Big Sky and a 9th or 10th place team and see a huge, a huge point spread, for that. These teams there's a lot of parity. And I think what we've seen thus far is the 2 teams that have kind of separated in Montana and Northern Colorado have high level point guard play that's been consistent in their program for a long time. And a lot of these other teams, ourselves included, are putting that puzzle together as we go. And sometimes it clicks earlier than later. But I know for our group, we've just really focused on the process of improvement and staying in the fight. And, we'll let the dust settle when the dust settles.
Our entire team at Ryan and Miller appreciates every client that comes to us. Getting to help them one-on-one with their individual case means the world to us. So thank you to all of our clients who contact us and come to us for their legal services. We appreciate it.
Cash One Pawn has the most extensive inventory of any pawn shop in Western Montana. Whether you're in the market for firearms, power tools, bows, video game consoles, or sunglasses, Cash One Pawn is the best deals around. And now Cash One Pawn gives you the ability to shop online from anywhere. Make CashOnePawn.com part of your shopping habits. Also make sure to download the Cash One Pawn app. Cash One Pawn, Missoula's premier pawn shop, located on Roller Coaster Road on the way to the Y. The scoring margin is so interesting. Ian Laird, the play-by-play guy for ESPN Plus broadcast, he dropped that stat on Saturday. He said, you guys, your scoring margin is like less than half a point, but that's still not even the top in the league. It's like 3rd or 4th in the league. So a testament to what you're saying. I mean, games have been 1 point, 2 points down the wire, no matter who's playing who. So certainly a really competitive conference so far this year. Matt Logie joining us here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Let's talk about the Griz then. What, if anything, do you take from the first matchup in Missoula?
Well, I think there's a lot of lessons in every game film you pour over after the fact. There are some things that we didn't execute as well as we would have liked, that they took advantage of, and then I thought, our response and our grit, and kind of fight was good. To chip away and to fight back and cut it to 3 there with under 30 seconds to go. I thought we had a good week of prep and just got outplayed in the moment, in some areas. But every 40-minute matchup has its own story and will be written, with what happens on Saturday. And so obviously you take those lessons and learn from them and plot your path forward.
Montana has changed a couple things throughout the course of this season, but one thing that they changed that the first time they did it was against you guys, where they brought Money Williams off the bench. How do you think that makes them different, just in terms of the prep for your team this week?
I don't think it's really made much of a difference at all, to be honest. Kai Johnson was their, highest usage player before they made the switch. And so it's not like that was lost on any of us as coaches. Everybody has different reasons for, how they manage their rotations and lineups. And I'm sure there's a good reason for Travis and wanting to do it that way. But in terms of, what you have to prepare for, who you have to guard, or what they do well, they're all playing the minutes that they were playing before, and we know who we're going to see out there and what they do well, and it's on us to go out there and try to limit that.
I think seven of the last 8 games, they've had at least 5 guys score 8 or more points. They put double figure scoring, like 4 or 5 guys, I think 5 out of the last 6. So just that balance, how challenging is that defensively for Montana State?
Yeah, no, they are a very well balanced offensive team, and I think that when you have to pay attention to everybody on the floor, that makes defense challenging, and you can't load up to 1 or 2 guys. And obviously they've been shooting the ball at an extremely, great clip here as of late. And so, I think you try to win the margins. You try to figure out where you can scrape off a little fat here or there, and try to limit, 2 or 3 of the 5 that are all capable of scoring between 12 and 20 points a game on any given night. And so, you got to be really sound, and you got to be solid, and kind of let the course play out over 40 minutes.
Is there a key matchup or just a key element of this game that you think will be of utmost importance for your team on Saturday?
I think in a lot of ways, when you talk about winning margins, the possession game is an important one, to keep an eye on, in terms of, who gets more shots at the basket, really. And you can win that battle by turning people over. You can win that battle by getting on the offensive glass and valuing the basketball. And I think that's something, when you have 2 quality teams. It's just like stepping into the batter's box in baseball. You get more at bats, you get more runners on base, you're going to have more chances to score. And so, we've got to take good care of the basketball, and we got to clean up the defensive glass when we do make the miss.
Looking forward to it Saturday night at the Brick. Montana State hosts Montana. Matt Logie, the head coach of the Bobcats, joining us here on Nuanez Now. Coach, appreciate you being here.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.